Welcome, everybody, to the Authority Author Summit. I am your host, Trina Gunzel, and I'm so excited to bring you these amazing authors, literally from around the world, who are coming to you virtually. I know people are so excited to be able to watch this recording. Some are attending with us live, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We have prizes for you. If you have not registered yet for the door prizes, you can see the link in the comments. I'm also going to put it down below. When you register for those door prizes, it's going to allow you to be eligible for the different gifts and prizes that our amazing speakers and authors have for you. So what I would do is go ahead and the link is there. I've already placed it in the comments for you. Make sure you click on that so that we can stay in touch with you. We will also have a way for you to access this recording later. So for those of you who couldn't attend live, this is a way that you're going to be able to access this amazing content. And there's always this big intrigue and this big mystery around authors. A lot of people picture us sitting back, we've got this gorgeous table and this amazing, drink, and maybe it's this calm, perfect space, and we create and have these amazing books come out of that, right? And then we have real life authors that, I would bet. I'm doing some research on this to see how many authors actually wear pants, because some authors do not like to work in pants and others think that, we have different ways of creating. So you're going to learn about the fun behind the scenes things that authors love to do. We have some very accomplished authors in this group today that I'm so excited to introduce to you. And as your host, like I said, my name is Trina Gunzel. I have 5 published books. I co-created the Stories to Success program with my husband to really have ultimate time and location freedom. After our son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 4, I literally wrote Can't Diabetes, the highs and lows of raising a type 1 diabetic child, to help my own self heal and work through the grief process, because it was like the floor just fell out from under me. I didn't even know how to function. I was a very successful teacher. I worked at the State Department level writing curriculum, and suddenly I didn't even know how to feed my child. My life became every 2 hours, day and night for 8 years, checking my son's blood sugar, helping him get insulin shots. And I was afraid of blood and needles. Like, what is that, right? So if you are going through a challenge in your life right now, I want to encourage you to just be open to finding the gift in that challenge, because I guarantee if you can find that gift, your life will get brighter, your life will get lighter. My son getting diagnosed with type 1 diabetes now became this door that just blew wide open for all these other opportunities. I've met so many incredible people. It's been so much fun touring with our family for 3 years and helping people realize they can work anywhere with a cell signal. And no matter where you are in your journey, I want to encourage you that you are made for more. Whatever you're going through right now, you do matter. You are somebody who has unlimited potential. And there are so many people in this group right here. If you would just connect with the powerhouses you're going to meet today, you will be amazed what you can accomplish in health, wealth, love, relationships, and spiritual growth. So I really tried to highlight and bring in specific people to be a part of this that would showcase each of those different areas. And of course, if there's anything I can do for you, I have a very family-friendly brand, and I love helping people see what their skills and talents really helped build them forward. And what we're going to do today is we're going to kick it off with actually one of my, they're all my favorite, right? They're all my favorite. I'm going to say one of my favorite Stories to Success members, who is a highly accomplished author. This man is so humble. He is one of not only my mentors as an author, who I've looked up to for years. He made me this custom mug. Isn't this the coolest thing ever? He's an artist. These are all my favorite colors, and I can't say enough about his work as far as creativity as a writer. My daughter loves his books. Like, we love to read his books. And I'm just going to turn the stage over, let Gordon introduce himself, share about his story, and then we'll have some time after for a little Q&A at the end. So I hope you settle in. If you have a drink or snack, maybe you have a notebook and you want to write down if you have any questions, because at the end we will allow our speakers to answer all of those. And welcome to the stage, Gordon.
Hi, thank you. My name is Gordon Bonet, and I want to thank you, Trina, for inviting me to participate in this. It's a wonderful honor. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a novelist, primarily. I'm also a science blogger. I'm a writing coach, which I'll tell you more about at the end. And I'm also a runner, a musician, a linguist, a potter, a sculptor. I kind of try everything. I'm
Yes,
one of
you
those people that my dad used to say about me that I was the type who would test the depth of a river with both feet.
do. Yeah.
And I just love anything to do with creativity and self-expression. And I love helping others to reach their own creative potential. I've had a really long road to get where I am today. I've literally been writing stories since I was 6 years old. When I was in first grade, we had an assignment to write and illustrate a little story and then read it to the class. And I'm a bit of a shy person, and I was flat out terrified. I was shaking my boots. But then when I got up to read, everyone laughed at all the right places, and they applauded when I was done. And I thought, I want to do this forever. And I've been telling stories ever since then. Now, my specialty is fiction writing. I have done a little bit of nonfiction, and like I said, I'm a science blogger, so I have my toes in that world as well. But my primary thing is writing fiction, and I think the most important thing you can do is to really put your readers solidly into the world you create. And that's all kinds of fiction. I write speculative fiction, where you take the rules of reality and change them a little bit, but it's really true for all fiction. But this requires that you see the world clearly yourself. They say write what you know, and that's really true up to a point. The more places you've gone, the more people you've met, the more experiences you have, the better you'll be at creating something the readers can sink themselves into. But writing about your own experience is only part of the game. The other part's being able to weave that experience into something new, where your own creative voice shines through. I'll give you an example. I have a new book coming out in a month. It's a ghost story. It's called The Communion of Shadows. It's set in southern Louisiana in 1850. I grew up there. I grew up in southern Louisiana and spent my childhood in the swamps and bayous near Lafayette, Louisiana. And so my story takes its roots in that place, but its origin is the scary stories my uncle told me and my cousins when we were kids. And I have a deep familiarity with both the place and also with the Cajun French folklore. And that gives it a root in reality, an anchor to reality. But then what happens to the characters came out of my thinking, what if? What if I could change these people's experience to something that's not ordinary? And then I just followed that path as far as it would take me. I couldn't have written Communion when I was in my 20s. I knew Louisiana as well as I did, as well then as I do now. But to tell that story required me to live through a lot more experience than I had had when I was 20, and I simply didn't have the skill back then. So that brings me to my next point. If you want to write well, keep at it. Do you know the old joke about the guy he's in New York City, he's looking for a venue for a concert he's got tickets to, and he's lost. So he's wandering the streets and he meets an old man and he says, "Hey, mister, do you know how to get to Carnegie Hall?" And the old guy gives him a stern look and responds, "Every single day, practice, practice, practice." Truer words never spoken. The first time you sit down to write a story, don't expect it to be perfect. You wouldn't sit down your first time at a piano and expect to play a Bach partita perfectly. It's the same here. Keep doing it. And one of my favorite quotes is from Samuel Beckett. Ever tried? Ever failed? No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better this time. Now, I'm my own worst critic most of the time. I don't think I have anything I've written from more than about 40 or so years ago. I'm 62 now. And all of my older stuff went into the round file. The oldest novel I have is called The Hand of the Hunter. That one's going to be coming out through Motina Books next year. It was written when I was about 25 in the mid 80s. I recently returned to it, and when I went through that really old manuscript, after I finished cringing at it for how amateurish it was, I thought, okay, this has potential. And so I sat down and did some major rewriting. The core plot, which I loved, stayed the same. But the rest of it, I went through and changed just about every line. And the fact that I could do that and had that perspective was because during that intervening 30 or so years, I hadn't sat still. I'd kept writing. So if you like writing, if you want to tell stories, write, then write more and write more again, and read everything you can get your hands on. Even if you don't like a book, you can learn from it. If you take the time to sit down and figure out what was it about this that I didn't like. My own personal formative influences are Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft and Madeline L'Engle and C.S. Lewis and Haruki Murakami and Neil Gaiman. And I've learned so much from reading them, not only for enjoyment, but also to think about what made their stories work. And read lots of different genres too. You never know what you're going to pick up from different places. So don't restrict yourself just to the genre you write. I think of it as being like charging your creative batteries, and you never know what's going to provide that spark. A couple of examples: I just released my novel Sephiroth, and I got the idea for that was from reading about medieval Jewish mysticism. And I was reading an article about that, and I thought, what an interesting idea, and that's where that novel came from. An article in Scientific American about an archaeological find was the inspiration for my novel Gears. And a piece of hate mail I got on my blog about how narrow-minded I was for not believing in Bigfoot gave me the idea that became my novel Signal to Noise. So you
Mm.
just never know. Not only should you be out there looking for things or reading, also become a good observer. You may have seen a writer post, "Be nice to me or I'll write you into my novel."
That's a great one.
There's some truth to that. And I'm really aware of imagery. A lot of stories that I've written come from one really single powerful image,
Yeah.
and you just never know when that's going to happen. So, if you see something unusual, maybe it could become the jumping off point for a story. And so I'm always watching, and I'm always putting things in that mental filing cabinet.
Mm.
I had an experience. This was about maybe 6 years ago. I live in upstate New York, where it's just terribly cold in the wintertime. And I went into our local bakery and cafe on one of the coldest days of the year. And it's hardly anybody was there. It was almost empty. But there was this young woman behind the counter, and she had really striking pale blue eyes. And she looked really sad. And the image of her standing there with her hands gripping the counter, her eyes distant, those really striking eyes distant. And it stuck with me. And eventually it worked into a short story called Retrograde, where I explained why was this young woman sad. Of course, all fiction. I don't know her. But that one image of that person became the jumping off point for a story. Being at a wedding reception where I didn't know anybody, the bride was a friend of my wife's, and I felt totally anonymous. And that was the origin of my murder mystery, Poison the Well, which has
Oh,
become
okay.
has spawned a series that's now up to 7 books.
Oh, wow.
Um, Also, and this is something that I didn't get when I first started writing, is be willing to let the story take charge. I'm not much of a planner or an outliner, but I usually have some idea where I'm going. And
Mhm.
then these magical times can happen where one of the characters just, I don't know how else to put it, they decide to change the direction. And
Mm.
I don't know where that comes from. But when it happens, it's just amazing. And my favorite example of this is I have a novella called Convection. It's about 7 people trapped in an apartment complex during a Category 5 hurricane.
Oh, wow.
And the character of Jenny in Convection, she was initially not exactly the bad guy, but she was the obnoxious, difficult person who complains all the time, gets in everybody's way, shoots down everybody's ideas for how to get out of there. And about a third of the way through, the only way I can state it is that Jenny decided she wanted to be somebody different. And her core personality stayed the same, but why? I learned why she was like she was. And she became one of the most sympathetic characters in the whole story. And I totally did not expect that. I had no idea who she was. So for me, writing is almost a way of getting to know characters. It's not, I feel like sometimes I'm not inventing them. I'm letting them tell me who they are. And
Yeah.
that's just brilliant when it happens. It's just so much fun. And another thing I have to bring up is don't be afraid of criticism.
Mm.
Criticism is how you learn, and others will see your writing flaws in ways that you were unaware of. I've been working with a fellow writer who lives in the little village where I live for now 22 years, and we get together every single Tuesday evening. We've barely missed any. Even during COVID, we would Zoom call each other, and we read chapters to each other. And her genre is very different from mine. She writes literary fiction, and she sees things in my writing that I would never have picked up on. And so find somebody who's ideas you trust, who sees what you're trying to do and is supportive. That doesn't mean listen to everybody. It doesn't mean let them tear your work apart, but find people who you trust who can give you good feedback. Everybody needs editing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone needs editing. And this requires getting your ego out of the way sometimes. Well, all the time, really.
Yeah.
When my very first novel that got published, Kill Switch, so my first time with a real serious editor, I sent the manuscript in, was on tenterhooks waiting for it to come back. And when it came back, he gave me some great feedback. And then there was one change he wanted to make that, I kid you not, required me to rewrite the last quarter of the book.
Mm.
And it was after I finished being devastated. And of course, we love our babies, right? We want them to,
Right.
we want everybody else to love them the way we do. But after I got my ego out of the way and finished crying into my cup of coffee, I realized he was right.
Mm.
And I went and I rewrote it, and the story is 100 times better than it would have been had I stuck to my guns. So listen to the people who have your best interests at heart and who are trying to help you. And the very last thing I want to say is don't get discouraged.
Mm.
It's hard. It's hard work. Everybody gets stuck. We all need editing, critiquing, polishing. But remember, nobody speaks with your voice. The stories that you tell will be told by nobody else on earth. A dear friend of mine once told me this. He said, just remember, there are only 3 stories in the whole world. 1, a stranger comes to town. 2, some friends went on an adventure. And 3, they're in love, but it's not going well. The only difference is how you tell it. So go out there and tell your stories in the way that only you can. I want to give you just another little quick thing, which is I have a business called Pen and Think, which is about for coaching writers. And so I love to help people achieve their full potential. So if you are interested in finding out if you can work with me with Pen and Think, please contact me. You can contact me through the Authority Author Summit group, or you can DM me, or whatever. My DMs are open. And so drop me a line. I can help you I have a program called Zero to Novel, which you can get from a blank page to a submission ready novel in a year. And I also have shorter term programs. If you're interested, I would love to work with you. So please contact me if you'd like. Now, open to questions.
Awesome. Does anybody have any specific questions for Gordon that you want to type into the chat? And if you're not sure, like I said, keep your questions, because what you can do is, type them into the chat, because then he can just answer them right here. A couple of things, Gordon, I just wanted to thank you for your valuable advice, experience, and wisdom in this, because how many books do you have published now?
22.
22 published books, you guys. So this is a very experienced, wise, credible, amazing author coach. I mean, honestly, if you want to know somebody who not only has he done it for himself, but as you can hear, the things that he has worked through and found in his journey to becoming an author. Don't you also have an in, like, with a publishing company, Gordon? Because I know a lot of people that seems to be a barrier for them, which
I've worked with 2 publishers.
Mhm.
One of them, long story, I'm not associated with anymore. The second one has been fantastic, and the Communion of Shadows, which is coming out in February, is through her, and the Hand of the Hunter, which will come out next year, is as well. I've also been just gotten into self-publishing. Some of the books that I have had rights reversions from my previous publisher, I'm putting my books out through self-publishing them, and that's where Sephiroth is coming out next week, in fact. So so I have a few different venues. It's kind of good not to put all your eggs in one basket, I think.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows who's listening to this recording, this is going to be in the Authority Author Summit. I'll put the recording in there when it is done, so that you can continue to go back and watch this. If anyone missed things, like Gordon said, you can directly message him, which is pretty cool. A lot of people are like, how do you access an author? It's great. And set up some time with him. I'm going to have you guys go ahead and put any questions you have in the chat, just so that I keep my author time and the speaking time for my authors. But go ahead and put those questions in. Susan, if you had one, just go ahead and type it in, and we can handle it now or at the end as well.
I'm not seeing the chat. So if you see questions from me, can you read them out?
Oh, sure. And then if anyone, if you haven't seen that part on the bottom, there's just like this little It looks like a messaging bubble. I don't see one yet, but at the end, like I said, they're going to put them in, and we'll have more
I see
Q&A
where it is.
time
Okay.
at the end too. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Perfect. And I'm going to do this for each author. So when you guys are here, so you can see, because some people's guests will show up at certain times, I'm going to take a picture of you guys. If you want to take your cameras off so I can see you, if you just want to be with your picture, it's fine. But we'll do a little picture so that Gordon will have it for his audience. Look at my fabulous guests here. Yes, you all look amazing. I'm going to give you a couple more seconds to get off your camera so I can see you. Ready? It's okay if you're in your pajamas. No worries. Okay. You know, authors are right. They don't wear pants. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay. Is that the 10 minutes or questions or okay? So at the very end, we're going to have like a Q&A for all the authors. But Susan, did you have a specific question that you wanted to ask Gordon? Since we have a more intimate group here, I'm sure your questions will keep coming in. Let us know if you have a question. If you have a quick question, Susan, you just want to ask Gordon, then I'll unmute your mic real quick so you can ask. Hello, Susan. You want to ask your question?
Here, okay.
Hi.
This is a new format. I wasn't familiar with how to get to the chat, but he said the 1 in 10. I wondered if it was 10 minutes, 10 questions, if the 10 had significance to it.
Oh no, just if you had a question, you can ask. Did you have a question for Gordon, or was there something different about that? I wasn't sure, Gordon, with the 1 in 10.
Is that your website?
Is which now my website?
You said something about 1 in 10.
I did.
I'm not sure.
My business is called Pen and Think.
Oh, maybe that's.
Oh, was it the number 10 or the word pen?
Pen, P-E-N.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
You're right with yeah.
My
Okay,
brain
I'm
went
gonna
a
put
whole
it.
other way where you said
Yeah, sorry. Well,
tips
maybe I wasn't speaking clearly.
for writer's block or something like that. So
Right. Yeah. So it's for basically guiding writers through the writing process. Yeah, it's called Pen and Think. And actually my probably the easiest way to get there is my website is gordonbonet.com, and there's a link there.
thank you.
And I'm putting that in the chat so that we'll have that, okay? There you go. Pen and Think, and it's on gordonbonet.com. Perfect. See, it's great. We've just cleared up, and then we don't have a confusion on that. Awesome. Oh, thank you, Gordon, so much for sharing your time and experience and expertise. I don't give them often because reputation is everything, right? But anybody who wants to have a published novel, I highly recommend that you work with Gordon. He is incredible. Obviously, you can see the depth of his knowledge. You don't have that many published books with the range of readers that he has and following. And if you ask nicely, he's also a pretty amazing sculptor. He doesn't talk about it often, but can you guys see this custom mug? Isn't it gorgeous? Gordon made this for me. I got it for myself as a birthday gift because I love his work, and he has following on Instagram. He's very shy because he's a humble man, but custom, like maybe it's just me, but I'm a fan of anything custom. So I highly recommend you connect with Gordon, ask him more questions, not only for the cool art things he makes for gifts, but his books are incredible. And he has an in with a publishing company. So if becoming a published author is on your bucket list and you want to be featured as an authority author summit speaker someday, connect with him because he does Pen and Think. And Gordon, I know you're super humble about this too, but on your blog, how many followers do you have with your, you were like, oh, it's no big deal. I just have.
Skeptophilia is the name of my blog, and I am about at 3.7 million lifetime hits for it. So yeah, I've been a science blogger for 12 years now. So 13 years.
So yeah, amazing custom programs. Gordon, we'll have to talk about that too, because I have some coaches who are crushing it right now, helping people with the blogging piece. Like these areas of your life, you guys, that for you, it's easy. And you think, why would somebody pay you for that? There are people who need what you know that you can do effortlessly. So thank you for sharing the time, Gordon. Connect with him. Like I said, we put the things in the, his contact info in the chat, and you'll also find it in the comments below. And thank you so much, Gordon. If you have any other questions for him, keep them. We'll do some more Q&A time at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker.
Okay, and I'm going to turn off my camera, so see ya.
Okay. Oh, bye, Gordon. Okay, you're welcome to stay on or not with your pictures. It's up to you guys. I know things happen in the background, so sometimes we'll just pop off the camera, right? So we can take a picture and then give you guys all that experience. So I'm excited to introduce our next speaker, Julia. Julia, where are you checking in from? And you want to unmute your mic real quick here. Can you? There you go.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, welcome, Kentucky. So we've got New York. I'm coming to you from Branson, Missouri. Kentucky, we're going to see how many cool places we have represented here. All right, Julia. So we are so happy to have you as part of this Authority Author Summit. And I know you have such an extensive background and experience as well. So will you please share with our audience your story? Let us know a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you, first of all, make sure you never say the words, I don't have a story. Because I promise you will have one.
True.
So I made that declaration about 7 years ago. And 6 years ago, I had a stroke where I had to learn to walk again, talk again, eat again, read again, write again. All of it all over again. And so that makes you, number one, appreciate what you have, but gives you a story. And in that story, I heard a person speak, and that person was talking about the brain and brain health and how we had to really get our brain back in shape. So I started taking vitamins to get my brain back in shape. And I'm happy to say that my brain became a 35-year-old brain. And that's about 20 years younger than I am. We'll just leave it there.
Wow.
My neurologist wanted me to get my cholesterol down to 70. Well, for anybody that knows that, that's pretty low because they usually wanted 100, but I had a stroke, so they wanted me at 70. I went to my brain doctor and they said, no. Because you can do that. You can get it to 70, but you won't know it because your brain needs fat to survive.
Yeah.
And then I was attacked by a friend. And if my brain hadn't been ready for that, there's no way I'd be here today because I was attacked, I was strangled and left for dead. And then as bad as those things were, they couldn't have prepared me for the devastation that I faced on December 21st, 2021, when my 34-year-old son had a heart attack and died. See, my son had ADD, and whether he was taking his meds right or not will always be a mystery. But here we are. So that got me to thinking and really wanting to write my story and put it out there. But what I want to tell you is, as good as novels are, I now read on a 30% level because of my stroke. So for all of you that have authors and have novels, please put them in Audible so I can read them. Because otherwise I can't. I'm going to fall asleep after about a page and a half, and that's just horrible to me. So what I did is I started writing in blurbs, like maybe one sentence. So my first book that's actually going to be a published book is going to be a coffee table book. It's supposed to be out in the end of February, but it literally is all about seeing yourself as a superhero. And the first one is on honoring yourself. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a box set, and they're all going to be little bitty books that you can just pull out and read one in the morning when you want to get that encouragement. The second one will be on having empathy with yourself, being respectful to yourself, knowing that you're one of a kind, empowering yourself, and finding your strengths. The second one will be about finding your superpower, that second box set. And the third one will be Action Without Capes. And yes, I just came up with the fourth one, which is Leaving Your Superhero as a Legacy. So even though they may not be this huge novel or this huge, fiction book or whatever you want to write, blurbs are important too. So we need to do something that will take care of us. And that's why I'm writing those books, is so that we can see that superpower, see that superhero within ourselves. Give us that quick in the morning, let's go get it. Because our brains, and that's why I really went into the brains and the superhero, is because our brains rule the world. We couldn't be having this conversation right now. You listening, we wouldn't have any authors. Me speaking and you understanding if we didn't have a brain. So our self-care is so important. So I'm going to tell you, if you'd let me for just a second, tell you a little bit about my son, because I would be remiss if I came to this today and didn't tell you about Joe. He was my superhero. See, when he was 12 years old, he told his dad that he wanted to be a superhero. And in typical dad fashion, Dad said, "Son, that won't pay the bills." So Joe went back to thinking, and he became an anthropologist and got his master's even in anthropology. And he went to work for the Coalition of the Homeless here in Louisville. But he got to be a superhero. He was a gamer, and through his experience of gaming, he met homeless people from all over the world. One such person lives in New Zealand. And when he met her, she was homeless. But Joe helped her get into college. She now has a place to live. She's finished her undergraduate. She's working on her master's and even donated to the Coalition of the Homeless in his memory. So you want to know how determined he was to be a superhero? When we cleaned out his car, we found a full-size Superman costume in his car, ribs and all. So if Joe was standing here, he would ask you, who is your superhero and what is your superpower? And this is the reason why I will continue to tell my stories forever, is because it'll lessen the fear for those who haven't gone through it yet to know they can if I can. So I have to ask you, what is your story? And why are you not telling it if you aren't? Because the world needs your story, and only you can tell it. Don't give up on your story or your dream. And if you have, I want you to bring it out. I want you to dust it off, and I want to see your name on the next book. So that's a little bit about me and who I am and why I've decided to study the brain. And so my offer today is all about brain health. I'm going to give you, we'll go back. My freebie today is going to be all about finding your resilience. I do a trifecta of never giving up, where first, you hate to lose more than you love to win. Because if you love to win, you lose and you think, I'll do better next time. But if you truly hate to lose, then you have that burning desire within you that you will either make it right or make sure you don't lose the next time. Number 2 would be an excuse is a loss. So if you make an excuse, I stayed out a little too late last night, I didn't make it to work on time, then really you lose. If you have a boss has 2 people and they have the exact same deadlines, and this person meets all the deadlines, but this person over here, they not only don't meet the deadline, but they offer an excuse, and that excuse is accepted, then this person is demoralized. And the third one is when you win, and you will, I want you to act like you've been there before. Because you have. You're winning at life every single morning when you wake up. When you put your feet on the floor and you get to say good morning to the world, you're winning. Then I was going to tell you about my offer. So my offer is brain health analysis. We all have a brain. We all need to have our brain analyzed. There's 7 parts of the brain. And as much as I don't have anything against pharmaceuticals, if you're offered a pharmaceutical for depression, it's affecting the entire brain instead of targeting one area as a vitamin would. So what I do is I help you. I come along beside you. I even go with you to your doctor if you want me to. And we find what's best and what's working for you, maybe what's not working for you, and get to the root cause. Thank you, Trina.
Thank you so much, Julia. And if you want to connect with Julia, again, everybody, all of the authors are listed in the Authority Author Summit with their contact information. You'll be able to check in with them. You'll be able to connect with them. I love it that you guys are including things in the comments. You know, people are just chiming in with that connection and relation point. So Kirsta was saying that's right. That brain health, a healthy body, she's huge for that, right? Lifestyle habits like exercise, food, and meditation all can help your mental health. It's huge. And for me, a big part of my work, this legacy work, is paying forward my skills and talents and training so that we can help even more people. I'm really proud to share that Julia has become one of my very first certified grief process coaches. And it's a process I created. I've helped hundreds of people with, and for her to be able to have these transformations and help more people, it's such a cool alignment with the work that she does anyway. And to be able to have that legacy passed on is really important to my heart, because I know as we help people work through things like grief, you heard all the things that she went through. It's kind of one of those like heal the healers model where it helps you and then you get to pay this gift forward. So Julia, thank you so much for sharing your story. I truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, am so happy that you're here with all the things that you have overcome. You have an incredible story, and seeing you light up and just the transformations over the time since we met. I'm so happy you're here today. Thank you for sharing. So again, you'll be able to have her access information. Yeah, Sarah says, thank you for sharing your incredible story. Thank you for sharing your story with us. See, and don't you guys feel, I just want to share this, right? Because we have a story brand. If you connect your heart stories with others, they understand and can relate to you. And I have no doubt from this group here today, you're going to make new friends. You're going to connect. If you guys aren't in our heartbeat community yet, that's a place and space that you'll be able to continue these conversations. You get to contribute. We literally have everything from homeschooling to travel to bees to all these different concepts and ways that you can connect. And Wendy says, what do you do if telling your story will hurt someone? Wendy, I would love to talk to you more. Let's schedule, you can have a one-to-one session with me and we can talk about that, because there are things that you're going to go through and share, and you can even say there's a trigger warning. My husband has a specific example of the way he shares his story. And you know what? That one video has brought in over $75,000 where he just shared from his heart. So we have a structure and format to teach you that. But if you share, like I said, there's so much more to this. I could talk about this all day, but there's a way to share your story that allows people to see the gift or the blessing from that challenge and get their own certainty. I love what Kirsta said too, share from a place of empowerment, right? So it's not that you're a victim from that. It's what are the lessons? What is the gold in that story? And also, what is the intention for sharing it in the first place, right? When you have that intention of why you're sharing that story, is it to help others get a win? Is it to help people be a part of your community so that they can connect, right? Yes, Queen, that's right. Chris, I can't wait. You and I are just on the same vibe, so it's going to be fun to connect with you more too. But I'm so glad you're here, Wendy. That was an excellent question. And if you guys have questions like that, just chime in. Like I said, we'll do a bigger Q&A at the end too, because I think it's nice to kind of hear what everyone has to say, and then you might be thinking about something, and I want to give you that time to really formulate questions that are aligned with where you are in your journey and what you need help with. Of course, Wendy. Yeah, super. Okay, so I want to make sure we get your picture for Julia. So do you guys want to, if you feel like it, you're welcome to take off your filter so we can see you live as these gorgeous humans you are on the planet. And we'll take a little class picture. That's my educational stuff coming out. Okay, we'll take a trainer picture here from the summit. Look at all these awesome people. All right, cool. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's for you, Julia. So I always love to help and support as you guys get to know me a little bit better. I will be your ultimate fan. If there's something I can do to help elevate you, to spread the word about you, my whole mission is I help leaders magnify their influence in the world. So to bring together incredible people like this with these heart stories, you all have a special place in my heart. Like the more I learn about you, some I'm already working with in our Stories to Success community, some at our retreats, leadership events, but really to connect incredible people, because I do believe there's such power in those real relationships, so that we can think of one another and we can invite each other and connect. And that's why, like I said, hopefully you'll see it in Heartbeat in the messages here, that you guys can make sure you're registered for the door prize funnel. And then if you're not in our Heartbeat community, it's free, but that's where you can connect with all of these authors, speakers. It gives you a chance to continue. There's really cool prizes that the authors are sharing, whether it's books, coaching calls, fun sessions. There's going to be some amazing prizes in there. So as you guys register for the door prizes, and then you can get in Heartbeat so we can keep connecting. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker. I can't even talk about some of these without tearing up. So I'm just going to say, Peter Nielsen is an amazing person that you want to get to know. Everybody, I can say the same thing about all of you here. But his story is one that I'm going to allow him to see. I don't know as far as what he's prepared today, how much he wants to share, but talk about a quality person that if you think you've had challenges in your life and you get to know Pete Nielsen, you're going to dig a little bit deeper. You're going to see that you can go through hard things and you can pay that love for it. And that's all I'm going to say. Pete, I'm going to back off, Peter, and just open the stage for you and let you choose how you want to share. But feel free to share some of the things that since we've met, and I'm just going to turn it over to you, my friend. All right. Welcome to the stage, Peter.
Thank you, Trina. I don't know if I've ever found a person that champions people more than Trina, and that always like totally pumps me up whenever I talk to her. So thank you, Trina, for that. And want to give everybody kind of a brief background, but I want to pose a question first. Like for those who are listening, what are you looking to get out of this today? And what I mean by that is I was driving to a practice with my family last night, and I was thinking to myself like how grateful I am to live the lifestyle that I do, right? And not everybody has the ability to work from home or to have time and in abundance to be able to spend with those that you care the most about. And I posed a question to the group: why are you here? What are you listening? What do you hope to gain? And oh my goodness, what is going on? Sorry about that. Had something pop up on my screen. But what are you looking to gain from that? And for me, I relate this back to me because a few years ago I got into something that was a complete blindside. I got blindsided by an issue that we had with one of our children that was, I like to think of a little bit more than life altering. And there's nothing that ever prepares you for something like that. And I'm really choking on this one because it's tough to talk about. But to give you all a brief synopsis, we had a brand new baby boy, and he was diagnosed early on with a very severe form of cancer, and that ultimately took his life. And it's like, well, how does that relate to being an author and to being me and everything like that, right? And sometimes life tells you what it is that you get to deal with, and you don't have a choice. But there are so many positive things that came from this experience, and that's what I want to focus on today. Is when we found out about this, there was only one question that really went through my mind, and that was, well, how do I spend more time with my child? How do I spend more time with my family?
Yeah.
And there was no clear answer. So if you're on here today thinking like, oh, I'm gonna just, figure it out today, well, you may not. But the point is, don't be discouraged by that. It's actually taken me a lot of years to really figure out me and to figure out how I have something to offer and to find my place in the world. And it started with a huge life altering event. And that cast me into a series of other events to try to figure, okay, well, who is Peter? What does he really want out of life? And I think a lot of times we go through life not asking ourselves that question: what do we truly desire? And one of the ways that I actually got started in writing was when Everett was first diagnosed. I was teaching automotive classes at our local community college, and they wanted me to start a hybrid and EV program. And if you've ever been in the automotive world and you've ever been around a lot of those older, grungy, like automotive dudes, talking about hybrids and EVs is taboo. It's very taboo. And so I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get made fun of. But since I was the low guy on the totem pole, I got selected to build that program. And as I was studying on this new technology that I had nothing about, no desire to know, opportunities actually began to fall into my lap. I went to some training courses out in Massachusetts and met some wonderful people out there. And then I brought that knowledge home with me and started working on these hybrid cars to figure them out so I could teach about them. And I began posting on Facebook groups, and out of nowhere, this editor from a website called Torque News reached out to me and he said, "Hey, would you like to write for us on Prius?" And I was like, "Sure." I was really into battery technology at that time, which is a fascinating subject if you ever want to know more about it. And I began to write, and I was 100% terrible at it because I like to tell stories. I like to connect with other people that way. And so and as an instructor, when I would talk to my students, I would give a very thorough explanation because I like to give as much detail as I can to help a person really understand the concept. And sometimes in the online format, that's not always best. You need to kind of get to the root of the problem quickly and also help drive the attention of your readers so they'll stay engaged with you and stay engaged on your page. So this was a learning curve for me. But I have written hundreds of these little news articles online, and all of them with varying degrees of interaction. And it really helped me understand a lot about what it takes to become an author. After Everett passed, and nobody knows this, Trina doesn't even know this, but I started writing a book that I have not finished. And it's basically a book about how to take massive action. And I'm still working on it because I started writing and I got a lot of things out, and then I just, I haven't got back to it. But that year when I decided to do that, which was 2021, yes, Susan, I know I need to finish the book. It's that's right there. Trust me. But when I started doing this, I'm like, I know I've got to get published somehow. And an opportunity came up for me to actually tell my story in a book that's called Finding the Big Me. And it was a co-authored book by several people that was put together. And it was this crazy moment in my life where I'm like, I'm a part of something that is a published, like, tangible thing that tells my story. This is really cool. And how all this relates is, if you are somebody that's on here that is looking to figure out, well, how do I get to the next level? How do I do this? How do I do that? Stop using this so much and go from here. A real close friend of mine that is a neighbor of mine out here mentored me kind of early on when whenever it was sick, and I said, you know, Chris, like how are you having all the success? And he looked at me and he said, I don't have success, I just take massive action.
Mhm.
And that was one of the biggest like key things that I think I've ever had brought into my life, was quit worrying about these details so much and
Yeah.
focus on taking massive action. And the more and larger actionable items that I do, the bigger steps that I take, that has begun to make the difference. I now get to 100% work from home full time. My wife and we actually live out on her family's farm. We've started a mushroom business, and we're doing that. And I also have the time to dedicate to some other projects that I'm really excited about. One of those projects is a project called Therapy Farm, and I'm going to touch on this real briefly because it's a huge thing. Therapy Farm actually launched this week, and what it is a virtual place where sick children can meet virtually with an animal and have that animal be their own. I'll make sure that link gets put into the comments, because it is a dream come true in a lot of ways to help these little kids that need some warm interaction with an animal. It's a really incredible thing. And if you ever have questions on that, definitely feel free to reach out. There's so many different ways that you can help. But kind of circling back on everything, like the biggest thing that I would tell anybody that is looking to get something out of this is definitely take massive action. Second is let your heart guide you in what it is that you need to do. I can tell you for sure, I'm not done trying to put good into the world, because I know, I know it is life is short, but it doesn't have to be meaningless. There's so many ways that you can find meaning in everything that you do, and I have a lot more planned to do that. So I'm very grateful for that. And then 3, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like, "Gal, this is hard," that's exactly where you need to be. Then you need to push yourself through those hard times, because that's what will build you as a person. That will build your character. That will help you realize that you're doing something of value and something that is wholesome and good. Hard times are what you need to go through to struggle a bit, to figure out that this is worth it. Because on the other side, even though I'm not 100% here every day, I can tell you that where I am today is leaps and bounds better than where I was, 2, 3 years ago. And it's through that hard struggle, that hard growth, that has given me the platform to continually jump and take those big leaps into doing what I do every day. So keep going, keep fighting, keep struggling, and always look for people that can champion you. And Trina's definitely one of those people for sure.
Peter. Oh, you guys, I have goosebumps all over, and it's the people that I get to meet through the work I do. They become family. Like John and I, to me, it's like Gunzel Family Brands. I love my clients so much. I mean, those of you who we haven't had the chance to work together yet, like Peter, Gordon, Rob, Stephanie, Sarah, Tulsi, Susan, like I'm not surprised so many of our clients are here, because they make these connections, and maybe this is the first time you guys have heard Peter's story. I have to say, he's one of the people I will always remember, because I stood for him in a place of like, I didn't even know how important that pivotal moment was going to be, because this was before everything had happened with your son. But it was like the shift in Peter to know he could depend on himself and God, and his purpose was bigger than that 9-to-5 job that was sucking his soul. He's like, if I have to get up another Monday, I can't do it. And instead, the strength he found within himself to go and not only be there for his family, but to lead his family through that hard time, and to recognize like the consistency of showing up for yourself and to help others, and to believe that no matter what challenges we go through here on earth, it is for like this greater good. You know, it's not easy to find those challenges. Like his will always stay in my heart, because it's one of the most painful things I can think to experience as a parent. You know, the close calls I've had of almost losing my son, and here my friend Peter went through that. And then to see like he found his purpose, and that's why we're so passionate about teaching that, because then it was like this momentum, and you can smile, like, look, he's on fire. Like no matter what happens, like he knows he's made for more in his life, and he found that. And having that fire in your soul that makes it where no matter what happens in life, you know that it's for a greater good. I really don't believe that we're here to be punished and hurt. Like when you can find the joy that it's not through the easy, simple things, it's through the challenges. Like Peter said, it's that refining of character. How are you going to pay that love and learning forward to help others? Like to me, that's the essence of why I'm even here. So I don't believe that it's any coincidence any of us are on this call today or connected. And everybody who gets to listen to this, if your heart has connected with anybody's stories here, I want to encourage you to reach out to them. I want to encourage you to create real, genuine relationships with these people, because out of those relationships, look at the amazing things that can happen. Like, you know, we're back on our tour, right? We're here in Branson. We have our animals, and Pete was telling me about this, and I'm like, I want to be part of that. Like, wow, if our little donkey can be one of these therapy animals, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, the books that can come out of a collaboration of amazing authors coming together and sharing their stories. Like it brings people together, like I said, for that greater good. These stories you hear today, maybe you'll dig a little bit deeper. Maybe you're going to think, wow, maybe I'm going through something in my heart, in my life, that's a huge challenge for me right now. But then the part I really love about hearing these stories is it gives you something to compare it to and go, man, this is hard for me, but wow, look what that person made it through. And your heart connects. And you say, you know what, I'm going to try a little bit harder today. Or maybe you're going to think of Peter and send him a message, you know, to encourage him. Or maybe you make a new friend right here on this call. You know, those of you, like you think about champions and your biggest fans and people like that. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but Sarah Waller, my sister, you know, she's like my other twin. We're only 15 months apart, but she shows up for anything I'm doing. My sister is there. And it's so cool to like have a champion in your corner, whether it's a best friend or coach or a person who's in your life that connects with your heart, and they're a supporter and a fan, and they can be there for you, whether it's to bounce off ideas or to help people for an event. I want to encourage you to do each thing with intention. Okay. Be intentional with the people you collaborate with, that you choose to have as your coaches, that you want to be invested in books or relationships or whatever you're doing, putting in that level of intention, like you see Peter doing, very intentional with the things that have happened to him in his life. You know, because he shared his story with me, I was able to connect him with a lady in our program who's a nonprofit specialist. I mean, it's just like all these things align, right? When you share what you want to make happen, I really think like the world will work to meet and bring those people into your life to help support you and champion you. And you don't have to do it all alone. Okay. So thank you so much for Peter for sharing your story. Like, and yeah, the part of it I hadn't heard, like, I love being your coach, but it's also just seeing the amazing things you all are doing. It lights me up like nothing else. So I am so proud of where you are and excited for the things you're continuing to do. And however I can help be a part of that, no, you can always reach out to me. I mean that, you guys, it's actually me. Like I don't care how successful I get. I will still be answering my messages because I want those genuine relationships, and I really do care about you. So many good comments in here. Yes, surround yourself with badass champions that have your back no matter what. That's right. What's Peter's contact info? And Susan, do you know Peter's in our Stories to Success community? So you can access him right there. Peter, if there's a way people can get in touch with you, feel free to put it in the chat. This is why, though, like I said, you guys get in our Heartbeat community. If you're not in that free app, I'll put the information here again, but you can direct message each other then. Like, it's a community that's family friendly. And the reason we're taking that off of Facebook and we want our family friendly community is so you can know that the people in there are going to have your best interest at heart. They are people with great values. They are people who care about family. They are people you can network with. You can share, you can communicate, and it gives you another communication line, right? Because it's important. What if you make a relationship right here that could, help your relationship or your business go to the next level, or you get to be a part of a bigger cause? So awesome. If you guys have any questions for any of our speakers, you're welcome to put it in the chat. What we're going to do is we're going to go through, and great, this is awesome. Our speakers are putting in their emails, so you can email them directly, or like I said, remember to hop in. There's the door prize funnel, so you guys register for that, so you're included for all the prizes the speakers are giving away, because we're going to continue to do that over the next couple weeks and give those prizes out. Julie said, going through and learning Trina's grief process and now turning the grief process without reliving the trauma is so rewarding. There you go. Friend me on Facebook, Gordon said. Isn't this cool? Like, you get access to all these amazing people. And that's what I love, is by hosting an event, right? You get to bring people together that maybe never would have met otherwise, but we get to be a connection point for greatness, right? To help magnify that love, to help build relationships. And to me, that's what it's all about. So I'm so happy you guys are here. Yes, I love all the connection in the chat. And I'm so excited for you guys to get to meet our next speaker. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everybody who's shared so far. Gordon, Julia, Peter. I know it is a lot to dedicate and commit your time to anything, so I want to really make it worth it for you. Like I said, this recording will go into the group. All of your information's here, so you can continue, and I encourage you to, authors, to share whatever your giveaway is in the Authority Author Summit group. You can continue to invite people, because I'll put the recording, and that will continue to be a way that's a new connection point for you. Okay, so I like to do that and provide that resource, just like in Heartbeat, to continue to grow your reach and expand, because we each have different groups, right, of thousands. And it's not about you just doing it alone. There are so many amazing people who want to help you, who want to be in your corner, who want to support you if they know your story, if they know what you're about. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture for Pete here. Anybody who wants to hop off show us your gorgeous face, we'll take a picture so Pete can have this for his portfolio, because you're all speakers. It's a big deal. It's your, if you guys know about that, smile, 1, 2, 3. That's your social proof, right? When people are like, what do you mean you were featured on the Authority Author Summit? Yes, you were. We'll send you the picture, and it's good. It's good to have these things for your portfolio. It's good to have these things to share. People are on here. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. Joy. Perfect. Oh, you're so sweet. Perfect. And the recording will be in the group. Okay. So I hope that you take advantage. Jump into the Facebook group, jump into Heartbeat. I'm going to put that recording so you can click to get access to the door prizes. There's going to be books, coaching, all these fun things that the authors have donated. I will as well. And I look forward to connecting with you more. This is just the beginning. If you look at that, okay, if you guys noticed, my clients who are on here, we keep in touch for years. Like, to me, I'm always going to think of them. I'm always going to be sending them referrals and trying to help them. So I love having you in our community, and I'm so excited for all of you who came today. Welcome. Welcome, Julia, Gordon, Wendy, Carissa, Peter, Stephanie, Sarah, Susan, Tulsi, Joy. I'm so glad all of you are here. Thank you again. My name is Trina Gunzel. I'm hosting this event. The Authority Author Summit has been something on my heart for a long time. We might even be doing a collaboration for a book that we can talk about. Authors, if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the stage for our next speaker. And what we're going to do is, after Carissa's, I'm going to share a little bit more with you guys, and we're going to open it up for a Q&A. I know you have been excited to be able to get to talk to these speakers. For those of you who are just joining us now, there is a huge variety of experience and expertise in this group. And Julia said she's giving away a grief process session which is a $500 value. You guys, the grief process, if you have ever lost or grieved, whether it's a pet or a career or a spouse, or maybe just feel like within yourself you're grieving something, not feeling good enough, it's huge. It's part of my legacy, and Julia is going to give away a grief session for $500. That's awesome. So make sure you register in the door prize funnel so that you will have a chance to win that. All right. As soon as Carissa's ready, I will know, because I'm going to see her come back on camera here. All right, girl. So I'm so excited. Carissa, I'm looking forward to getting to know you even better. Like I said, you can tell a lot of these people are in my circle, but you and I have a very high vibe, similar vibe. And this woman, remember I told you all, I was trying to bring in people to showcase under health, wealth, love, happiness, and spiritual growth. You're probably starting to identify and see which one of those kind of shine in those different areas. Carissa, I am so happy to have you. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and you can just shine as you guys are going to get to know Carissa. She is one of these rock stars. Like, I'm pretty stubborn about who I hire as my coaches. If I decide I'm going to actually commit to full-on health excellence, she will be my girl. So Carissa, I'm going to open up the stage. Thank you for being with us here today. I can't wait to hear your story.
Absolutely. Well, in 2011 at 11:23 a.m., I was given my 10-year death sentence. Yet, 12 years later, here I am today, the champion for women's mental and physical health. Like Trina said, my name is Carissa Atkins, and I am the #1 mindset and transformational coach for lady leaders. I am an award-winning international speaker, 2-time best-selling author, and of course, the badass coach helping women boss up and get healthy and wealthy in their life. Now, Sugar Ray Robinson said, to be a champion, you have to believe in yourself when no one else will. Becoming the best version of you and unleashing that champion within, it all starts with a healthy mindset and a healthy body. In 2011, I was broke, fat, depressed, unhealthy, lacking confidence, and the love I had for myself was gone. I hated the reflection in the mirror and the relationship that I had with food, exercise, booze, sex, money, and motivation. It was terrible. In 2011, I hit rock bottom. The kind of rock bottom that is either going to take your life or it's going to propel you forward. Now, my family and I, we were stationed in Germany, and on a normal day, you could find me outside smoking cigarette after cigarette with cups of coffee in hand. At 3 p.m., that would roll around. I would drop the coffee cup and I would go for wine or booze instead. I blamed others for the life that I had. I made tons of excuses for the life that I was living, and I started to accept the mediocre life that I had. 11 years ago, I would have never created goals or resolutions for myself because I had a serious track record of failing. And let's be honest, nobody likes to feel like a failure. I struggled with finding balance and happiness and self-love. And because of that, my weight got out of control. Not only was my body completely unhealthy, but so was my mindset. I allowed the itty-bitty shitty committee that lived inside of my head to run the show. I mean, oh my gosh, I should have won an Oscar for the role that I played as the victim in my life. 11 years ago, my husband was deployed. I was tired and I was running behind to a doctor's appointment that ended up changing my life forever. There I was, sitting across the table from the doctor when I got some hard to hear truth. I'm talking like that kind of truth that slaps you across the face and you're like, what just happened to me, right? That's the kind of truth that I got. The doctor looked at me square in the eye and said, Carissa, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but somebody needs to. You are 5 foot tall. You are 213 pounds, and you are considered obese. Obese, y'all. She used the O word when describing my body. I was like, oh no, this woman didn't. I'm Puerto Rican, so at the time I really was like, oh, I was feeling, right? I was mad, I was sad. I was like, I am not going to show this woman that I'm hurt by this, even though on the inside I was bawling. She then began to say, if you don't change your lifestyle habits today, you might not be around for your family in 10 years. Now, I've got 2 kids that are grown. However, I can't imagine my daughter, who's about to be 16 years old, learning how to drive from somebody else. I can't imagine putting her prom dress on and helping her get ready. I can't imagine missing moments like that in my life. Talk about a punch straight to the gut. I mean, right? I knew I was overweight and I hated my body, but I never considered myself to have gone off the deep end like that. I never considered myself to be obese. But the real epiphany came the very next day. So the next day I was sitting on the couch feeling pretty sorry for myself, debating on if I should start drinking now so I could start to numb out the pain. And I happened to look over at a picture of my mom. And for the first time in my entire life, I saw my real mom. I saw all 320 pounds of her. I saw her battle with cancer, diabetes, and the lack of energy she had. I didn't see the hustler. I didn't see the entrepreneur. I didn't see the loving mom who taught me as a 15-year-old how to be a mom. I didn't. I saw a tired, run down, unhealthy, and full of diseased mom. And the worst thing that I saw in that moment was my kids having to bury me at 40 because I was too lazy to change my life. That was the day that I hit rock bottom. That was the day that I said enough was enough. That was the day that I decided to boss up and stop making excuses, stop letting life happen to me. That was the day that I became the champion. That rock bottom moment, followed by that major life epiphany that I had on the couch, it sparked something so deep inside me. It pushed me to want to become the best version of me. And now I can honestly say that I'm in the best shape of my life, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, financially. I am totally abundant in everything that I do. And it was because of that moment. I decided I wanted to live, but more importantly, you guys, I decided that day that I was worth it. And I want to tell you now, if you're listening, you are worth it too. All of your dreams and goals and visions are worth it. You just have to be willing to boss up. So I know you've got that pen and paper, because if you're here, you're probably some sort of personal development junkie, or you're wanting to learn from some of us. So today I'm going to give you my 5-step framework to help you break through the bullshit and hit the wellness reset. Step number 1 is that I'm going to ask that you find clarity, and you've got to dig deep and find your why. Okay, so sitting on the couch, of course, I started thinking about, what do I want for myself? What am I capable of? What would life look like if I was healthy and had energy and could do anything that I put my mind to? And I got really crystal clear on what I wanted to look like and feel like and be like, and who the woman I wanted to become. So I ask you right now, get crystal clear on what you want for your life, for your business, for your health. It doesn't matter. The second part of step number 1 is that you've got to dig deep and find that why. You cannot stop at the surface level why. If I had stopped there, that why would have probably looked like, well, I just want to get healthy and lose some weight. Who doesn't want to feel a little sexier in her body, right? These were all the things that I said to myself of why I wanted to. But then I kept asking myself, well, Carissa, why do you want to feel sexy? Why do you want to be around for your kids? And I landed on, I wanted to be the best version of me because I didn't want to die. I didn't want my kids to bury me. And obviously over the years, your why evolves, right? It landed me into this beautiful space of coaching and mentoring. It landed me to international stages. It landed me to do like tours and dues. Like it's evolved so much. And now I have such a passion for it. It is now my life's mission. Second part of this whole framework is that you've got to break down, plan, and commit. So I get on the phone with women all the time and they're like, yes, this is what I want. I'm like, cool, what's your plan? And she's like, I don't know. It's a hot mess. And I'm like, yeah, it shows, right? So if you don't have a plan, you'll never get to your destination. You've got to take what you want, reverse engineer it backwards, and figure out, like, what does that plan look like? What can you do consistently every single day? What can you commit to every day? Now, over a decade ago, right, I sat down and I wrote a whole list of things that I could and should and need to be doing. You know, all those shoulds. I was literally shitting all over myself at the table. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I should be doing. But instead, I stopped myself from all that negative thought patterns. And I said, Carissa, what can you commit to? What can you commit to every day that would be the needle movers in your life? I said, well, you can start moving your body, right? Hello, you walking your son to the bus stop is not cutting it. So you have to take 30 minutes every day, right? That's what I did. I spent 30 minutes every day. It didn't matter what I did as long as I got up and moved my body. So if that's where you're at, amazing. Go for a 30-minute walk. Do something small that you can commit to. The second habit that I chose to focus in on was I wanted to go from 3 plates of eating to 1 plate. And I'm not just talking 1 plate for the entire day. No. There's a reason why I got to be 213. I was shoving food and booze and all that crap into my body because I was trying to numb out the pain of the lack of self-love that I had. So I was eating 3 plates at one time, 4 or 5 times a day, so that I couldn't feel it anymore. So all I could feel was discomfort. Okay. So those were the 2 habits that I focused in on for about 6 months. And that alone was able to drop 70 pounds off of my body. 2 habits that I could commit to. The third step is that your environment matters, right? You need to set yourself up for success. And part of that is setting up your environment mentally, physically, emotionally. Declutter your space. Create space that inspires you. Surround yourself with high-vibing people like the women and men here today, right? People are vampires. They're either going to suck your energy dry or they're going to want to challenge you and to be that badass coach in your corner. That's me. That's a lot of us, right? Yeah. So remind yourself, if you don't like the way you're living, your business is at, look to the left, look to the right, because you are the sum of the 5 that you hang out with. And then the last part of your environment, we cannot forget that your thoughts matter. Work on those limiting beliefs, work on the negative emotions and that nasty self-talk, because what you say to yourself, even though nobody can hear it, matters. It matters. The 4th step is all about accountability, support, and mentorship. Now, when you are looking for an accountability partner, I want to encourage you to find a maverick. Right? And what is a maverick? It's someone who's 10 times better than you at what you are wanting to achieve. It's someone who's already overcome those struggles and those challenges, who've already wrote the books, who've already speaking on stages, who are already making $100,000 every single month, like who has already gone through the transformation you're wanting to go through. Find that kind of support. Find that kind of mentorship. There are thousands of people out here who are wanting to help you rise to the top. So if you're saying you don't know anybody, now you do. You can no longer use that as an excuse. And the 5th and final step to this whole process is that you've got to upgrade your mindset. Your thoughts and your beliefs create your reality. You get to choose your thoughts and you have the power to change your beliefs, which allows you to boss up your entire life. Therefore, you have absolute control over your ultimate destiny. How does that sound? If you want to change your life, upgrade your mindset. It's as easy as that. And it doesn't have to take forever. And if you're wondering how, that's why you come to coaches like myself or my good friend Joy, who's on the call, right? It's hard to upgrade your own mindset. Even the famous Tony Robbins has a mindset coach, right?
Yeah.
Change your thoughts, change your reality. So I just want to thank everyone for listening today. And I just want to quickly share my mission, my purpose. I want every woman to feel empowered enough to follow her heart and to rock her best life ever. I want every woman who struggles with negative thoughts, self-sabotaging behaviors, nutrition, energy, exercise, and stress in business to have a plan of action. Helping women boss up to the next level of mental and physical greatness is my life's work. I am here to tell you that yes, you get to have it all. A beautiful body, a strong mindset, a thriving business, and people that want to support you. You get to have it all, but you've got to choose. Change is possible, but you have to be willing to change. Now, I'm on a mission to help 1 million women all across the globe boss up and 10x their health so that they can 10x their entire life. And if that is you, I want to encourage you to book it's a 30-minute call with me. It's called Boss Up, and I'm going to put the link below. And that's a 30-minute session. It's a no pressure conversation where I get to learn about your goals and help you create a no BS plan to get there and to help you make those minor mindset shifts all within that call. It is over a $500 value, and I want to encourage you to book that call today. Now, only though, if you're serious about bossing up. I don't want to be wasting my time because I am a busy lady, right? Just like all of you. So only if you're ready to boss up and play big this year, I want to encourage you to set up that call. My name is Carissa Atkins, and I am the champion for women's mental and physical health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carissa. Can you guys feel all the energy and from all the speakers today? I hope you have seen how much time and intention and effort they have put into their life to create the results they wanted. Okay. One of the biggest things is if you're choosing to leave this up to chance, it's not going to happen. But there are so many people here. I hope that you've connected or you've seen like, wow, that's what I want to do. And this is somebody who can help me get there. I want to make sure we take Carissa's picture for her. So everybody, if you feel like it, if you're able to take the filter off so we can just see you. So we'll take a picture for Carissa so we can have that. I would love to see you live, see your awesome faces. Okay, we're going to take our picture together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, here, we're getting some more in. Anybody else come in? Hey, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Awesome. We wanted to make sure that we had some time at the end today to be able to answer some questions because, yes, our speakers are busy people. Carissa, I really appreciate you taking the time. She has been featured on NBC, all of these amazing things. When you are an international speaker, it's a busy schedule. And so I appreciate my speakers who take the time to come in because you know what? By creating these power relationships, we can see when you think of someone where you're like champion for health, Carissa's your girl. Like how many people, I'm guilty of it too, you guys. We get so busy behind our computer and we're working, trying to do all the things we need to do. And we're helping our families and we're growing our business. It's really easy to backseat your health. And I want to encourage you, making your health a priority is key to unlocking everything. Because there's so many times, and if you're someone like me who's so focused on helping groups, is anybody in here excited and wants to help other people? Is anyone here motivated by helping others? Okay, so if you're someone like me who's motivated by helping others, it's really easy to want to jump to that level, to always want to jump to helping groups, but it goes in order, okay? If you will work on getting your own mental health, physical health, okay, emotional health, spiritual health, all those things in order first, then it's great to also be able to take care of your family and spend time with your spouse if you have one, or your kids or your family, right? Then you have that energy and time, and out of abundance, you can go help groups, whether that's coaching your own program or leading your own events or writing your books or speaking on stages, whatever you're excited about. But in order to make that not just constantly be caving you in and having you crash and burn, which you've seen it. Have you guys seen people, you've been following them and you're excited and you find a coach and then they just disappear. They totally disappear because maybe they have an emotional breakdown. Maybe they collapse. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I meet who CEO burnout, right? They just stress to the max. And then it's like, where did they go? Now they're forced to stop, right? So we always talk about, wouldn't it be easier to do things right? Like take the shortcut and do it right the first time. What if you could jump in and learn from somebody who is above your level, okay, who is where you want to be in your career, which you've seen examples here today, right? Under health, wealth, love, and happiness and spiritual growth, and you link arms. That's how you collapse time, okay? Instead of spending, I mean, I've been consulting you guys for 25 years. I'm an international speaker. I have 5 published books. I love training people. I've trained at 2 different state departments, thousands and thousands of people in best teaching practices, because it's one thing to get results for yourself, but it's a completely different thing to get results for others. And so many coaches miss this. I can tell Carissa's high integrity, right? Her clients get results, okay? If you're seeing someone, it's only about them, ask them, what results have their clients got? You know, when Gordon talks to you about his clients have actually published books, you know, when Pete's talking about his clients have gotten these results. Okay. When you're seeing that ripple effect, that's how you know, you're like, okay, this person not only knows what they're talking about, but they've gotten results for other people. And that's aligned with what you want. So I hope today you came here with a question that you really wanted answered. If you haven't, I hope you've had time throughout this training to be able to look and see and to be able to kind of focus. Maybe there was something an author said that gave you an idea that you're wondering, how can I turn that into something for myself? Or you really want to dig into, how did this author or speaker get results in their own life? And I want to give you a chance to be able to ask those questions. We have enough time, which is awesome. I'm going to check through a couple of these comments here. Joy, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Off to her next appointment. It's so good to see you guys. Some of you I know are going to be watching this recording later, and I want to allow you to be able to come into Heartbeat and ask the authors specifically. All the authors are in Heartbeat in our app, so you can ask them. You can set up these appointments. You can take advantage of the special offers they, you know, shared for you here. To get an opportunity to talk with a coach about your specific needs and come up with that success plan is a huge gift. Maybe some of you have never worked with a coach before. Maybe some of you it's your first time and you're considering getting some support. It's a great way to work with an expert who has the results you want and to be able to link arms with them to collapse time and help yourself. So the stories we've heard today, heartfelt, inspirational, encouraging, helping you see that really no matter what you want to accomplish, when you see that someone else has done it, instead of, which one of you, maybe it was Gordon, I think, who talked about ego, right? Don't let your ego get in the way of you accomplishing your dream. Look and say, wow, if someone else has done what I want to do, then it's possible for me in the world too. Okay. One of my things is custom high ticket offers. It's not hard for me. It's actually so much easier for me to sell custom high ticket than it is like even a $7 offer. I would rather sell a $100,000 package. I don't know. It's just easier. But for me, it's because the value is in there. And I know because I've done it for myself to help people get those transformations. So wherever you are in your journey, I want to encourage you, if you find something that comes up that is a button for you that's like resistance, I don't feel like I could make that much. I don't even know that I could book that call. I feel intimidated by that person's success. Recognize that that's an area for you to grow in. When you see those buttons that are coming up saying, I don't know if I could do that, I don't even know if it's possible, realize there are people who have already done it. And when you seek out a mentor or you learn from someone who's accomplished what your goals are, I want to support what Carissa said, okay? The time you spend, she said the time you spend, right, with the 5 different people, that's really what creates who you are. There is a really important factor that happens. If you're always feeling like you can't do things or you can't accomplish things, check and see where you're spending your time. Okay. You want to spend a third of your time with people who are above your level, because then you're in learning mode and you're realizing, wow, these are things I don't know. So when you're with those kind of people, you want to listen more. Okay. Take notes, ask really good questions, which I'm going to give you guys time in just a minute here. Okay. Because there are people in this group right now, all of us who are the speakers, you have an opportunity to hang out right now. You're hanging out with that 33% above your level. If you haven't accomplished the things that we have, this is the time you get to learn and ask those really good questions to get yourself some wins. Okay. Another third of your time you want to be spending with people at your level. So this might be like your peer group, people who have accomplished similar things. It's more of a comfortable space. You might not be growing as much, but that's probably where you're going to feel the safest. Okay. And then you want to be spending a third of your time with people below your level. And that's when maybe you are mentoring someone else. Okay. Or you're coaching someone else, or you notice a group you're hanging out with. If you start to feel like you're not able to accomplish things, check where you're hanging out. You might be spending too much time with people below your level. That is going to cause you to feel like you can't reach or accomplish those things you want to. Okay, so just look at that. And what we're going to do is hopefully you've written down some really cool questions. Hopefully you've gotten excited about some things that you want to ask. And if you can, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat if you have some specific things that you want to be able to ask. And I'm going to go through and see, because there are people who put questions in here already, and we'll go through those. Let's see. Susan says, how far into the future do you reverse engineer your plan? Carissa, is that one for Carissa? I think so. How far into, or anyone, any of my speakers who feel like answering that one, how
think
far
it
into
was
the
probably
future do you
Peter.
reverse engineer your plan?
So,
or go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
okay. I was thinking about this, like, I think big because the only way I can think is big. And, I think about where I want to be, right? Which is if I had to choose a place during the year right now where I would prefer to be would be on a warm beach somewhere, right? I'm not quite there though,
Yeah.
but I'm getting. So, right, I always put like a carrot out for me to go after. And right now that's my warm sandy beach. And I'm really trying to chase down that carrot. But I have to think to myself, okay, what do I need to get to that carrot? Well, I need time to get to that carrot. Okay, what do I need for time? I need to be making X amount of dollars per month. Okay, well, how do I do that? Right. And then as you begin to break it down from your largest goal to the smallest goal, my smallest goal is I need to get out of bed every morning early and start my day. And then my next goal is to do a hard workout and feed myself, right? And then you're literally building each individual routine for yourself each day to get to that larger goal. I hope that helps. So that's how I kind of look at my that's how I guess I would reverse engineer what my highest point is and taking it down to the smallest thing or an actionable item that I have to do every day.
Thank you, Peter.
Jump into,
Sure,
I was reminded of something my dad used to say, which is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that always has really stuck with me. People ask, how on earth did you ever get a blog that's got 3.7 million hits on it? Well, I write 6 days a week, every week. Consistency is huge. If you want to achieve a goal, you've got to commit to sticking with it and taking those little steps every single day. If you want to write every day. If you want to achieve anything, I'm also a runner, so I run every day, and rain, shine, snow, doesn't matter. It's even if some days I don't feel like it, even if some days I don't feel like I'm going as far as I want or as fast as I want, that consistency is enormous. And so any of you can achieve your goals if you just keep at it. Keep working.
Love it. That's awesome. And I also wanted to share, Susan, with that piece of, if you start spinning out, notice almost all the problems happen if you're too far in the future or too far in the past. Okay. So the work we need to do, it's present time today. What are the things you can do today to move you towards that goal? And I love to set out, like, yeah, I might have things from a month from now. I might have things a year from now. I might have a 10-year plan, whatever those things are. But it's the daily steps you have to do today that get you closer to that goal. Okay. Cursa mentioned some great things, right? Exercise. If you just like one thing, what are the 2 steps, right? You could do today. Gordon, consistency. I hope you guys hear this, right? In these success stories, consistency. One of the things that taught me that so much with my son, you can literally see from his blood glucose meter, right? For type 1 diabetes with his pump, exactly the way every food affects the body. Consistency. If he stops taking his insulin, in 2 weeks, he'll be gone. Type 1 diabetes and special brittle type 1 diabetics, it's very different. Okay. So that consistency of doing what actually gets results. And I'm just going to share this. I hope if you're taking notes on this, so many times people miss, okay, it can be easy. It does not have to be this complicated thing. If you get results with something, duplicate it. Do it again. Don't be so high strung on variety, which I'm super high on variety, okay, that you throw away $1 million ideas left and right because you're bored. Like, work to build in that consistency and get those results, and then double down and reflect and get your wins, because you can build exactly those results you want to have if you will keep doing the things that actually create results, not guessing. Right? There's things that actually work, and then there's things that we're hoping, hopeless hopers, right? Instead of doing what it actually takes. Yes, go ahead, Cursa.
Yeah, perfect. I bring in a lot of masculine energy. Yes, I'm also a lot of feminine energy. I love manifesting, I love meditation, hypnosis, all that stuff to get to me to where I want to go. But the masculine side of things breaks it down, right? So I'm super like just write it all down. So I love to start when I'm breaking down my goal. I love to start with the impact that I want to leave. I love to start with the income and then the freedom. Like, what does that look like? And then like for the 2023, if I want X amount of money, if I want to impact 1 million women, and if I want to be on 10 international stages this year, then the break, like it's great, right? That's the overview. Then I like to break it down, right? And I don't know if you guys can see it, but then I break my big goal into my yearly goals. Okay. And then I'm going to break it down even further into what I need to do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly in order for me to reach all of those goals. So if I want to make $500,000 this year, if I want to lose 100 pounds, doesn't matter. I like to plan out on the business side of things a year out, but the vision is very much big. Okay. So in 2019, when I started my, as a coach, they said, Carissa, why don't you, like your CarissaAdkins.com. And I'm like, because my vision is to have multiple coaches underneath me. And I want to, because that's how I want to impact the world, right? I can't, as a one single coach, all I can do is impact so many people per day. But now if I've got 5 coaches on my team and they're out, helping the people and our impact is bigger. So I've always known the bigger vision, right? I'm like, I am meant for stages. I am meant for books. I am meant to do big, big things as well as coach, like the retreats. I take all the mindset stuff, but I have other coaches that can help support that. But it's as easy as that. And most people I find, I won't even just put that on the women, is they do get very overwhelmed with all the stuff. Remember, like all those things that I could have done, should have done, needed to do. And instead I said, Carissa, what can I do consistently? What can I commit to every single day? Just like we've all said. So a phenomenal question. Yeah. Reverse engineer. And then sometimes it's just like, I'll even do, if I want like quick motivation, like a 60-day sprint. Right. So I do this with my clients. I'm like 60-day business sprint. Everyone name your income goal. Everyone name your client goal. Maybe if you're trying to write a book, maybe your sprint goal would be like 6 chapters. It doesn't matter what it is. The same concept works. But like, okay, pick what you want to do in 60 days or 45 days or 30 days. Break down the 3 main needle movers, 4 main needle movers, whatever you can commit to. That also, works in your lifestyle. You can't just say, okay, bye kids, mama's going to go and just focusing on her right now. Like, right. Like everyone, it's got to be balanced. The universe wants balance. So hopefully that helps too.
Awesome. So good. See, you guys, if you're like I said, hopefully you took that time, because these intentional questions, you're literally getting to access gurus right here when we're sharing with you how we got it done, and you can put those pieces into place. Obviously, it takes work, right? But I think you're hearing from everyone, it's that intention, that consistency, and then having a plan, and then doing the work it takes to make that plan a reality. Awesome. Let's see if we have any other questions in the sidebar. Susan, did you have, or Julie, did you have something to share on that?
Yeah, I did. One of the things that I've done that has helped me immensely, especially this year, in December, I just had the 1-year anniversary of my son's death. So I gave myself some grace and didn't like, oh, I have to have all my visions set by the end of the year. I now have a vision month, and it's called January. And so as long as I can have, my vision board and my manifesto and everything done by January or the end of January, I'm good. That doesn't mean I quit and I don't make any money during January. It means that I schedule in time to give myself some grace for that. We just went through the holidays. The holidays are the worst time in the world to spend trying to do your vision. You're with family, you're with friends, you want to party. Don't do your vision. Give yourself the month of January and yourself a little bit of grace to get it going and going in the right direction. And I do a manifesto on relationships, works, finance, health, spiritual, fun, and because of Carissa, I'm now adding family. So it's on there. I just have to write it all out when I get off of here. But know that there are people who care about you. There are people who love you. There are people that are, holding space for you. My biggest thing is I believe in you until you can believe in yourself. And I will hold that space for you.
I love it. I love it. And I'm so grateful for all the stories that you guys shared today and the awesome questions. I want to see and open this up one more time. If you had a question that was on your heart that you want to ask one of our speakers, or you want to open it up to the group, feel free to type it in the chat box, because then we can answer those for you. And also remember, like you said, to register for your door prizes. And then in Heartbeat, you have that private app to continue to connect with your community. Okay. And hopefully you learned some major gold nuggets from the speakers today. There were so many awesome things that everybody shared. You see all these different perspectives, right, that come in to help you. Susan said, how important is your why? How important is your why? Go ahead, Carissa.
Yeah, actually, I'm getting ready to fly to Nebraska tomorrow, actually, to speak. I'm the keynote for an event called Live Your Why. And so I just got done putting together my whole new talk for that one about a week ago. And it's fun, right? Because my why, right, of like, I don't want to die, I want to live, like that why turned into my passion, which turned into my purpose, which turned into my global mission. So yes, the why evolves, but at the end of the day, I wake up now, not just for me, not just for my kids, but also for my clients, right? I get up, I do that, I work out at 4 a.m. Like I am so structured and disciplined because my why was so important. That's why I want to it's not just cool to know your surface level why. You've really got to dig deep on that, because your why creates long-term motivation. You can't just always wake up every day and feel motivated as hell to like get the job done. So even in business, when I'm like, oh, I don't feel like working today, or I don't feel like doing this today, or blah, blah, blah. Like we've all, as an entrepreneur, I've hit that so many times where I'm like, maybe I should just go work for somebody else. I mean, when I was living in my friend's basement, when I made 10 grand my very first year as a coach, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. This is tough, right? Because tough, challenging days. But then I said, Carissa, hit the reset. Remember your why. You're here because God put you on this earth to share your stories, to impact the world. And you need to get the shit done. And I was like, okay, right, hit the reset and let's go. So my why is literally the thing that carries me each and every day. And I'm just like, it's either going to make or break you, in my opinion. And I think Mark Twain said, right, like the 2 most important days of your life is the one you're born at, and the second day is when you figured out your why, because it will motivate the hell out of you if you've struck gold with your why.
Yeah. I love that so much. I'm so aligned with that. And mine takes a little bit different of the personal, because like my kid is literally named Wyatt. We call him Y. And it was the thing. I was in this little teaching bubble, right? I had the little cush job, whatever, 55K or whatever, it was one of these but it was, my life was never going to go beyond that. And I have all these other skills and talents that my why, when you end up having a kiddo with a medical condition that's $10,000 a month, I don't fit in the 9-to-5 bubble. Like I have to blow it up, right? 100K months. Was that something I ever thought about growing up as a little, girl in a tiny town without a stoplight? No, but my why is the people, right? My why is how many people can I help be able to share their gifts and talents so that no matter what life throws their way, they can handle it out of abundance, right? I teach 14 streams of income. Making money, to me, that's not the hard part. The hard part is the mindset pieces, the mental stuff, the grief, the things that life hands your way that you weren't expecting, where you feel like you just got like side punched, for nothing. You're just walking along. We've all had moments like that, right? You're just walking along doing your thing, and then life's like boom, boom, and you're like, holy cow, how much of this can I take? But that inner peace, to me, when you really dial in your why, or like we have a very specific purpose process we teach that helps people align all that, because for us, we noticed after 10 years of helping people through grief and all the mindset work and marriage coaching and all this, we found there were the same consistent problems that people had. After thousands and thousands of clients, I've realized these are the problems humans have. There's only so many things, and I've heard it all at this point. But when you align that with how did you have a gift that came from this challenge, and you decide to create that, for us, it's helping them do a family-friendly business model, right? We noticed it was like this rocket fuel. Because then, even if you have a hard day, it's literally the difference of you jump out of bed, Like, I love Mondays. They're fun. I'm excited because I get to go help people. Like, to me, your why, that's that bedrock piece, right? That you can stand on. It's not sand. It's not something somebody's telling you to do. To me, my why motivates me to create and find a way that no matter what, it helps you blow through all those blocks that will get in your way. There's things to learn, right? Whether it's the technology or a connection, or maybe it's something you have to do that you're not sure. Your why is going to help you go, you know what? That might be something I don't know, but I'm going to learn so that I can help these people. I'm really motivated by how big of an impact I can make. How many lives can I change? How many people can I help get those results, right? The money is just an exchange that is a result of how many people you help. Does that make sense? And when you can take that pressure off yourself and instead focus on what you love to do that makes your heart sing, that makes your heart smile, right? That lights you up, that's that sparkle. I'm all about like, what is that sparkle piece that you can't not do it? It is you, right? It is the essence of what you came here to do. It just helps. So Susan, I know your story, Susan, and I know there's so many amazing things about you. And honestly, the hardest part sometimes is just getting out of your own way. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, if you need to borrow some belief that it will work out, I don't have that belief that things won't work out. Like, I know what I create people need and want to hear, and you're just operating from a very different belief system. And I'm happy to share that with you. Borrow that until you can get there on your own. It's like, you are valuable. You are priceless. You are precious. And your experiences and life stories you have been through, if you will be bold and share those, you're going to change somebody's life. Like, I have no doubt what Kirsta said. There will be somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I need to change my life. I have no doubt from Juliet, what she's sharing. There will be people that reach out. Gordon, Peter, like, look at the impact that you guys are making because you are willing to share your story bravely, okay, in a bold way without fear. Somebody else is going to see they're not alone in what they're doing. And to me, that never gets old. That's that why. Why are you doing this in the first place, right? And then who do you want help from sharing that intentionally? Awesome. You have a lot to think about. Yeah, Wendy, there's so much, right? How much? I just call it dropping diamonds, right? There's so many diamonds that were dropped here today. It's awesome. Kirsten says, yes, that's a great thought to add to it. Oh, your fire that gets you laser focused. That's right. Your why is the breakthrough moment. Your why is everything. That is your inner spirit that drives you. It makes you take massive action. That's right. That's right. Awesome. Was there anybody else who hadn't shared that wanted to on any of these? Gordon, did you have anything else to add on this? I just want to make sure I repeat. Awesome. Carissa or Julia, did you guys have any?
I have one more thing to add real quick.
Sure.
When I couldn't get to my why, I did the manifesto and I looked at the 7 areas. And by doing that and writing it all out, I mean, Trina, pick an area and I don't mind sharing it with you. I can read to you what I have real quick. It's like 4 or 5 sentences. Pick an area.
Like under health.
Health. I feel good daily, and feeling good makes me feel better in every area of my life. I nourish my body with healthy, delicious food. I love moving my body, and I do it every day. I give myself a full night's sleep. I savor moments of rest unapologetically. I drink lots of water, and I enjoy how it refreshes me. I enjoy taking care of me as a way to express my appreciation of gratitude for life. And I'm losing 20 pounds. That's what I have listed. Then what I do is I read each sentence. I go and find a picture that goes with that, and that picture goes on my vision board. So sentence by sentence, I make my vision board. And that's just what has helped me on a very personal level.
I love it. And I'm so grateful for all of you who took the time to join us today. Thank you, everybody, seriously, for contributing, for showing up. Thank you, speakers, for sharing your stories and being a part of this amazing event. Like I said, the recording is going to go in the group. It's also going to be posted in a heartbeat. Make sure you register for the door prizes because every author has something that they've donated to contribute, and you will be notified of that if you register in your email of which prizes you win. And I just want to encourage all of you, share your story. take action on something that inspired you here today and realize there are so many people who truly love you, who care about you, who do want to see you succeed. And I hope you see from the amazing mentors and authors and speakers in this group today a bigger vision of what is possible, how you can take and turn your story of heartbreak or a challenge into something amazing, or maybe it's just fun and you're getting to magnify more fun. And I want to encourage you to share today. Maybe it's on your social media. Share about one skill or talent that you have that you could help somebody with. I guarantee there are so many people who would take action on what you have if they knew you did it. For example, my friend Gordon is this creative, amazing sculptor. Barely anybody knows it, but I know it every day. I have one of his custom mugs. So maybe what is one of those things that is a skill or talent you have that you might be hiding under a basket? Okay, that's something you actually love, but maybe you're not valuing that skill set because to you it's easy, or to you it's something that's just fun. Do you have to monetize everything? No. But if you're curious about how you want to turn one of your skills and talents into a high-paying stream of income, even if it's for fun, even if it's for another level of abundance, or so you can bless others and make donations, that's really what I love helping with, is helping people refine and turn those cool ideas and skills and talents into either some high-ticket consulting or coaching, and it just works because you're doing it from a place of love, of something you're excited about. So if you have any other questions for our speakers, you are welcome to message them directly. Everybody has their information. It's going to be in the comments down below. And I wanted to just thank you all so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your skills and talents. And thank you for being part of the very first ever International Authority Author Summit. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for putting this together. You are an amazing inspiration. Thank you.
You're awesome, Gordon. Seriously, loved hearing everything you had to say. It was very just inspirational as well. I look and see, like, I look up to as far as how much you've accomplished in publishing your books and the way you're helping others and people who want to publish for the first time. I cannot recommend a better mentor. So thank you, Gordon, for sharing.
Thank you. My pleasure being here.
Thank you. Peter, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story today. I know people are impacted from what you shared.
Hey, Trina, look.
You got your tiara. Oh, yes. That's our exclusive business. What do we have? We have tiaras. If you don't have a tiara yet, like, you know, guys, I don't want you like top hats. All right.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you in the Heartbeat community. Bye-bye.